Rahubot Collective, welcome into another reading. Um, Hopefully y'all are feeling good today. Hopefully everything's going well. I do want to say that the book on the ego is out. Part one of the book. I don't know how many parts it's gonna have. It's gonna have multiple parts. Because it can't be talked about in one thing. And I decided to put it out in parts. Because that's just how I'm feeling. Got it to do with it instead of putting it in with chapters. Um, I just felt like putting it in parts and doing it that way. But with anything that has parts such as a duality book, they come in bundles. Um, as a so if you're at wanting like the books on duality, that there's two of those. They come in a bundle, and you just let me know, and I'll tell you the prices for that and stuff. But all books by themselves are $15. Just email me or send the payment with your email attached in the notes, and I will send you the book. And all payments are done in USD. And just in case you didn't know, because some people don't know, but all the payments for the services are in USD. Well, regardless, we're going to jump into this reading and see what is going on with y'all, with everything that's going on, and what could be improved on. So we have the Tower, which is really funny that I mentioned the book on the ego. This has a lot to do with Jack and Jill. This has a lot to do with the external world dictating what you know inside. Now, with the Tower, a lot of people tend to think that it's an immediate, like something is happening. This could genuinely you be going through a tower, through a change, through a fall from grace due to your thoughts that are keeping you in this cycle of thinking that bad things are going to happen, and accidentally, unconsciously blocking what is actually coming towards you. So be very aware of that. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of the split second ideas that you're faced with of, wow, it's X amount of time, or it's this time right now, and nothing's happened new. So is anything going to happen? Don't let yourself ponder on those questions, and catch yourself when you're thinking them. It's okay to have these thoughts, but it's not okay to let them go by unnoticed, because they go by unnoticed. That's like letting someone go through the security with a gun in their pocket. They're just going to keep going. You let someone steal from a store once, they're going to keep going over and over again. That's what these thoughts are doing. So be sure that you're catching yourself whenever you have these small thoughts of, is this working, is this not, all those things, and allowing yourself to be like, it's okay, everything's working out in my favor with that. This is what's keeping you from moving on to a new cycle, is this sort of backwards thinking, where you think of something and you're not able to move forward. This is why you haven't have this is why you don't have your scepter just yet, because there's this thought process that you go through. There's this inconvenience that you put yourself through on a mental space, because of the phases of how life go, how they go so quickly, and they don't really get time to be digested unless you're paying attention to what's happening. This is what you're being warned about, finding that balance. And the only way to find the balance is to catch what is holding the most, but is making the balance unbalanced, right? And the thing that's making everything unbalanced is these tiny little thoughts of, oh, this is wrong. Oh, X amount of time has passed by. Yada, yada, this, yada, yada, that. Stop allowing those thoughts to go by unnoticed, and balance it out with, everything is working. I'm not worried about time. I'm not worried about XYZ. I'm going to look away from the light and go into the darkness for a minute. I'm going to go within the self and see what truly needs to happen. Nurture yourself in that way, because this pathway that you're on is leading to, with the crown there, it's leading towards the goal that you're wanting, right? That same crown that's being knocked off right now in the present time of you thinking that something's not going to work, that crown is still there. That crown is still going to allow you to get what you receive, but you're just not looking deep. There's something deep that needs to be brought to the surface. This isn't something that should be hidden. There shouldn't be anything hidden. You should dictate what you desire in life and allow yourself to see what in you is preventing it. The outside world is going to do what the outside world does, based off of not only you as an individual, but the conscious collective of the majority of everyone on Earth, right? Not just the conscious, or not just the consciousness of the spiritual community, whatever. It's the entire consciousness of the entire world, and not everyone has this pure squeaky clean mentality or is working towards that. So it's not you just fighting your thoughts, it's you fighting thoughts that have been thrown within the algorithm that you can agree to based off your own experiences, which is why you go down these pipelines. You got to understand this. This is your fight against Saturn. Stop worrying about Tom. Tom is right now your biggest issue. You're so worried about, oh, it's this time. It doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter how long something's going to take. Just do the steps that you need to allow yourself to get there. This is you walking down that path by yourself, that solo path, that deep introspective path that's going to show you what you desire to do in the world and how you're going to get it as opposed to other people. You're not like other people. You can't just copy someone else's life structure. You can't do that. You're not meant for that. You're not made for that. Your DNA structure cannot understand someone else's life in that sense. It can grasp it in its own unique way, but it cannot fully reciprocate what's going on, which is why you need to take that time to see what thoughts you're having compared to what externally and how it relates to you in your past, your present, even in hell, even in your future, right? This is that test. This is what Saturn's trying to show you. This is what Saturn's trying to push to you. And they're trying to get you to see that you're fighting this force. You're fighting against Saturn. You're fighting against the whole world, but you're not seeing that the entire world is based off of these ideas. I mean, it's the Five of Wands. Wands are the ideas, the invisible. You're fighting this invisible force that you can't even fully recognize. Five of Swords is coming out right after that. There's a lot of challenges in this. There's a lot of challenges within this idea that you're being faced with. It's changing your thoughts. This idea of, oh, I'm going to get this, and there's no nurturing with the emotions. There's just an outlook on the physical. There's an outlook with the rational self, and it's not allowing you to be present to truly see what can happen, what will happen. Right now, you need to wait and rest. You have all these ideas. You have all this energy. Rest. Don't move anywhere too quickly. You know what you're wanting to do. You know how to fight against Saturn, but you're allowing these thoughts of how do I fight against it? How do I panic against it? What do I need to force out into the world right now? Nothing. Let the divine do what the divine needs to do. You need to do what you need to do. The divine's giving you instructions of what you can do to keep yourself busy, to allow things to process quicker within your field. You just need to take action to do those things. But it's this thought process of, oh, that's not going to work. I don't believe that's going to fix it. You know, me doing this is not going to help it. It's only going to make me waste time or whatever. You're spending time. You shouldn't be wasting time. You should be spending time anyway, right? It's your currency. You might be thinking that you're wasting time. You might be wasting time. How are you spending your time is what you need to focus on. What are you doing that's valuable to you? Something that's going to help you progress. Something that's going to help you relax. Something that's going to help you delve within the self. So you're not stuck in these old patterns, this old way of being, these um, colossal thoughts that seem, they're not actually colossal, but they feel colossal because of how much pressure they're putting in you based off of what you're seeing from the outside. What you're not seeing is that all your wishes are being fulfilled. The genie in the bottle is very active right now, and you need to be very aware of your thoughts, of your mental focus, of where you're sending energy, of what you're doing with your energy, of how you're spending your time, doing things that give you gratification and giving yourself that gratification internally without doing something on the external to allow more to come to you. This is how you're going to complete this challenge. This is how you're going to be able to master it. Once you start seeing that things are working out in your favor, because some part of you that has more control than another part is creating that, you're then going to be able to have the cheer. You're then going to understand how to move forward the way you want to, the way that you're desiring, the way that you're needing to, right? But first things first, you have to nurture yourself. You're not letting the divine inspiration from all these wands coming, you're not letting that nurture you on the feelings aspect. You're comparing it to your thoughts. Oh, I won't be okay until this happens now, or whenever this happens to XYZ, or some sort of external illusion that you are then putting all your energy into and then blaming it for your downfall instead of you being the source that keeps feeding it. That might not be something you're focusing on. With the Page of Pentacles, you need to really see again, where are you putting things on the physical? How are you studying the physical? And right now, you're not seeing the physical in a very light way. You're seeing the physical in a very a matter over mind way. where you're not able to truly feel or even grasp what's truly happening. You're just getting all this fear. There's a time for a strong mental barrier that needs to happen now, because the more that you focus on the physical and its actual physical form rather than seeing it from the spiritual form, you're just going to be creating a bunch of unnurturing, unsatisfactory events and circumstances that are going to be around you, that's going to create more of that black magic, that lack energy that you create from yourself, right? And again, this is the devil. You're bound to this. This is what you're needing to fight for and fight against, is that force of things aren't working out. This is a test that you've gone through multiple times, through many different things and in many different ways. And it's trying to show you that a path is being cleared, but you're needing to have strength over that blindness, the unknown of when is it going to happen. Let it happen when it happens. Don't worry about the when. That's the rational mind itself that wants to break down everything before it allows anything to come to it, because it wants to see the risk and the reward. This is why things get halted. This is why you make decisions last second. This is why things aren't moving the way that you're wanting them to, because you're spending too much time digging on the things on the physical that can't be changed at this time. You're putting in all the work, and that's good, but you're almost overworking, or you're trying to overwork. It's time to let the divine work on the physical. We had the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. There's literally, the divine is working on those two realms. All you need to do is work on your cups and your swords, on your internal, on your heart and your mind. The divine is handling everything. It's going to be fine, but you need to control yourself. That is the imbalance. And whatever force has the most pull is what's going to attract what it wants. This is why you're unable to attract everything that you're desiring, because while the divine is working on two realms and you're working on your two realms are outputting a more dense energy. It's putting out energy that's rapid. It's putting out all these scenarios that then the divine, acclimates to give you what you want, because it is what you're desiring. Even if you don't like it, you are still feeling it. You are still desiring it to be there because you keep feeling it, which is why it's important to work through it. You feel it. You don't feel it, you feel it, right? And you sit there and you meditate on it. Why is this happening? Is this happening because XYZ? Do I know for certain that those things are going to happen? No. Does anyone for certain know that any event in life is going to fully happen? No. It's not necessarily that of an easy answer, but you need to digest it that way and be open to being wrong. Be open to just being wrong, that your downfall is there, right? And again, Ten of Pentacles, you're going to receive everything that you're putting effort on the physical, which is why it's important for you to nurture yourself, nurture the divine wisdom inside, so that you're not creating this molehill, this mountain of issues. Don't get distracted. Don't let the physical reality distract you. Don't let anything keep you from giving back to yourself. Don't let your feelings be given out to other things. And right now it's really telling you, do not get distracted. Do not get distracted. Do not give to others before giving to yourself. Do not get distracted so you can stay balanced, right? Because there's an imbalance that's happening due to you trying to not be distracted. It's like you're trying not to focus on the physical, and then you forget about the spiritual, you forget about the internal, and you're trying to like forget about the external completely. It's like there's things that you could be doing that you've been getting hints on, but you're distracting yourself with maybe media, with electronics, but you don't need to do that at this time. Right now is a time for rest, for working on the things that you know you need to work on, and then letting everything else do what it needs to do. Again, it's this divine idea that you've been given that needs nurturing from you so that it can mature fully and be mastered. And right now it's not. This is what they're asking you to do, is to take that leap. Take the leap. Why aren't you listening to your judgment? Why aren't you listening to yourself? There's something that you want to do. There's something you've been desiring to do. There's something that you've already been told to do. And it's like, you're about to make the leap. You're about to make this change. This change is going to happen for you, but you're not listening to it. You don't want to take it. You're not listening to that higher self wisdom. They're trying to show you the light, but again, with the Page of Wands reversed, you're not willing to go on the adventure. You're not hearing the divine clearly or correctly because of that fear, because of that uncertainty. Yeah, we'll use these. I'm going to use these. So what else is going on here, Spirit? There is a path being cleared, though. It's just you haven't seen it. It's not that you don't have the keys for it, you just haven't seen it precisely. There's this communication error internally that you're needing to fix. And it's because you're focusing so much on the external that it's keeping you in this blinded state. Um, and you're not really sure how to go. And the external again can just be saying someone is doing this to me. That's not it at all. No one can do anything to you unless you allow it, unless it hits you. So it's you at the end of the day that's allowing any sort of effect to come towards you. Don't scapegoat someone else. That's an easy thing to do. That's what your ego, your rational minded self will definitely make you do, because it doesn't want to take accountability. And you don't want to take accountability either if you're not willing to go that deep. That's the truth of it, because it's all you at the end of the day. And if you can't accept that, then you're not accepting yourself. And that just means you're trying to be something else that you're not. Again, this is your south node habitual being. This is what's false. This is a lie. This is the lies you're falling for. This is the safe zone, the comfort zone. Oh, I have to be doing, it couldn't be me. Or all these other things that you like to tell yourself, these habitual lies you tell yourself. The falsehood of the self is what's keeping you from seeing the truth of it, keeping from seeing this storm. It's why you're in this storm, is because of a south node. This, maybe you're trying to invent or plan a new way to get out. Maybe you're trying to bull force things. It's not working because you've upgraded from who you used to be. You have a whole new time of growing, of learning. This is your rebirth. This feels like a past cycle where you actually manifested something that was bountiful for you at one point, but then turned sour over time due to a lack of actual energetic cleansing on your behalf, or a lack of actual attentive behavior that you needed. And you're getting the second chance to see that the path is cleared again for this, and all you need to do is truly trust and allow things to be, right? Remove the mask of the emotions, remove the shakiness, remove the antsiness. Is a time to sit still and listen to God. Again, the fire, listen to the wand, listen to what you need. Don't listen to the other half. What you're trying to connect with, what you're trying to hear, what you're trying to do is hear what the divine has for you, is get the divine messages. And you're getting the messages from the divine and the mind at this time. You're not focusing on it. There's something about a dream that you had that you're not focusing on. There's something about trying to not be in a lost energy, but you're not lost. You're at where you need to be. It's all perfect. But there's this confusion. There's this, I don't believe it. There's, well, you don't need to believe it. In the first place, you need to know it, right? There's this discombobulation that's happening with this ending. And it feels like you don't want to actually leave a cycle because you've grown too comfortable, which is a huge sign that you do need to leave a cycle. Is because you've grown too comfortable to where you'll make excuses to why you have to be in a certain position or be in a certain place. And it's because you've grown comfortable with that. And it's about this growth that you're having. Maybe it comes to a job, to what you're focusing on, to people around you, all these things. It comes to your power, giving away your power too much. You're not focusing on what you need to do. And the divine has to tap you and put you in these situations to show you you need to focus on this. And it's not really the divine putting you through it, it's the divine allowing it to happen, right? That's the correct way of saying it. It's the rational minded self that creates these events for you. And this does have a lot to do with your comfort zone, where you've grown comfortable with. It's time to move on from that, right? Your angels no longer need you in a certain place, or you might be feeling that you can't listen to your angels, or you aren't seeing any signs. Going to angel numbers, listening to, paying attention to the numbers you see, pay attention to the signs you see, the animals you see, whatever catches your attention, the thoughts that you're getting. All these are signs that are being brought to you, but they need deeper attention. And it all comes down to love. This could be something you love, or an actual love connection, or however you're disconnected from a source of you that you need to be connected to. And this is what's keeping you away from this mastery. There's this completion that isn't able to happen because you haven't seen the signs yet. You haven't trusted the signs. You haven't put your knowing into a sign. Instead, you've given yourself this excuse that nothing good's going to happen because of the physical, or because something's not working out. All these fear-based thoughts that are needing to be removed, which are keeping you from hearing the divine, right? This is the path that you're on. And it's about strength over the mind, strength over the physical realm. And this is what you're needing to focus on right now, is that's what you're not looking at, is the strength that it requires. You might not feel like you are strong enough, but you are. You just haven't tried it yet. It's your rational minded self telling you you're not strong enough so that you don't actually do it. Again, this is a crossroads that you're at, and you're not seeing things correctly. Especially if this reading does resonate with you, I heavily recommend you getting the book on the ego, because we literally talk about everything. I break it down very well, and I even use the Jack and the Jill riddle as a standpoint in there as well, to help you with this, to help you see this process in real time, to help you understand what causes it, and just to grasp it a little bit more. Because this is exactly like verbatim one of the things that I talk about in the book, about being able to truly see how the rational mind acts as like a buffer to make you a victim, to kind of put you in this energy of, oh, I need protected, or I need things to happen in this sort of order, or it's not going to work, just because it hasn't seen the divine. And this is, again, something that's not just a one and done deal. It is a conscious effort that needs to be done daily, or you'll fall short of it, right? And again, this is just being in the elements. You need to get into the flow, and the only way to get into the flow is by seeing the signs. Something isn't over, so you're not being left behind. There's something that's not like over, right? But there is something coming back to you to show you the effects of what you've already done, right? Something's not over, but something is done. You're not over the obstacle yet, but the obstacle has already been set and is done. And right now it's mirroring to you how you believe you to be at this moment. And right now you believe to be trapped, but in actuality this is a new life growing. This is literally just the rock and a hard place that God puts you in before you shoot out to the next level. You might need to get a personal reading to know what the divine is truly trying to show you, what the divine is trying to tell you internally, how you're disconnected from the divine or even from yourself. Getting a personal reading, not a reading on the external, but a reading on the internal. You're needing one of those at this time. And if you do your own readings, do one. If you don't do your own readings, or have the funds to, I never noticed that. That's interesting. Sorry, but if you don't have the funds for a reading, definitely pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to what's being presented to you, and work with that. Google things. What does this mean? What does that mean? Google the angel numbers and stuff of that nature, right? So that you can see how the divine is trying to speak to you. Go within a quiet mode. Don't speak. Just allow yourself to think. Just lay down and allow things to be for a moment, right? 8 of Wands, because right now, because you might even be blinded from the things that you need to do now. There's something that you've been told to do now that you're not doing, and with the sun reversed, it definitely revolts into like darkness. It revolts into going within the self. There's something you need to be doing now to help you in this time, and you don't need to be distracted from it. You don't need to be distracted from it. It's going to require you to stop thinking in the past about how things didn't work out with the Ten of Pentacles, about how things fell short, because this is that battle that you need to overcome with strength reverse so you can move forward. But again, it's like this battle of losing. You're in a lot of regret, like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, I should have done this. That's okay, you didn't. That's fine. You have a whole new cup in front of you. Take that new cup that the divine is giving you and nurture yourself with it, because until then you're not going to get that reward that you're actually desiring on the external. To do what you need to get that reward on the external reality and see it in full time, in real time, and in its full wholeness and glory, you need to do the inner work. You need to delve within the self. You need to know that you already know. You're just upside down. There's an adventure. There's a searching through the self that you need to do, knowing that the divine is doing everything to keep you afloat, to give you what you desire, but you just need to stay focused on that one thing. You're being presented with too many ideas, 7 of Cups at once, and you're spreading out your energy. You're burning yourself alive with the Ten of Wands. You're not having the energy to carry on and do anything. You're not in an actual collaboration. You're not working what you need to work on with the divine, and they're trying to show you this through things not working out the way that you're wanting, so that you can start nurturing yourself and seeing what you have around you. This is how you're going to overcome the tower. This is how this tower is no longer going to corrupt you. But first you have to master these thoughts, because this Knight of Swords reverse, you need to leave that thought realm. So go back to the wands. Don't go back to the cups, go back to the wands, go back to the why, go back to the cause, because you're in the realm of the effects right now. You need to go figure out why this happened, why this even was a thing, what halted work, what's halting the work. And once you do that, once you figure out what's halting you from doing what you need to do, the chariot comes. You'll have that scepter, you'll have that freedom to run. But it's, again, meditate on this. Meditate so you can get that golden thought. Be in a still state. Think about things. Think about everything that you've done. Do not include anyone else, because the second that you include anyone else in their energy, that's going to immediately shift your focus. That's going to immediately make you think and end up going down the path of believing that someone else has control over your life. And they only do when you have these weak points inside your own psyche that they can get, either readings on, or however. It's not the fact that it's them pressuring something on you. They're playing on a part of you that you haven't already mastered. You can do the same thing, because people who prey on people like that don't have the part of them mastered that knows that they can't overcome everyone. And that's what you're needing to do. It's not allow yourself to be overcome by things, and you can. It is the ego, is the rational mind itself that will say, no, I can't, I have to fall victim to it. And the only reason why you want to fall victim to it is because you're looking for some sort of external validation for the things that you've gone through, so that you can apply a label to yourself, so you can feel that comfort and feel like you're being wrapped up and warmed by the label, but you're not, because you're not getting any sort of nurturing at all. You're just agreeing with something that you don't even truly know the terms of. We have raccoon, which is letting go. This message has to do with those things to which you cling, be it a thought, form, a habit, creed, or situation. The time has come in letting the time has come from letting go. I think that's supposed to say for. Anyway, something is halting your progress and you are spinning your wheels. Once you embrace change, blessings will follow. We have sheep, innocence. You are encouraged to reconnect with your inner child in order to become more spontaneous and playful, and consider what life has to offer with a greater sense of wonder. Take time this week to get in touch with the innocence and vulnerability within you. Crow, transition. Which part of your life is or may be going through a transition? Maybe you are changing relationships, careers, or cities. Whatever it is, the crow is signaling that you are ready to make the change. Hippopotamus, exploration. If you have become bored with your life, you have the creative power to stir things up and revitalize everything. You can do this by starting new projects, setting new goals, and making spiritual connections. Coyote, playfulness. This is a reminder to not take things too seriously and bring more balance between wisdom and playfulness. You might need to lighten up about a matter that's been on your mind for a while. And last but not least, we have eagle, which is vision. It is time to look inward with an attentive eye. Allow your heart to guide you, and opportunities you'd never dreamed were possible will present themselves when you least expect it. Get ready for greatness. So all in all, it's just this mental battle that you're in with yourself, where you're not wanting something, but at the same time, part of you is desiring it to fuel and to continue an old cycle where you believe that if you're stuck in it, you'll receive some sort of grace or different type of treatment from the forces around you, whenever the forces around you are trying to get you out of those places, to move you onto greater areas. I'm gonna shuffle 2 more times. We'll take the bottom and the split. We have more animal cards. Anyway, we have a lot of earth, fire, air, and spirit, but the spirit represents with the water, so that's pretty interesting. Not a single element's left out. The snake, guardian of the unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, our creative life force, lies dormant at the base of the spine in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it is worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within. What would life look like if you woke it up? How can you stir it from its slumber? An experienced yoga or meditation teacher can lead the way. Make haste, the snake card appears when there's no more time to waste. When in balance, prosperous, creative, and charismatic. When out of balance, starts and stops many things. To bring into balance, Kundalini Yoga or meditation. We have horse, momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force. The horse energy represents the most masterful form of earth energy within the deck. It provides us with momentum, so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back towards any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. Excuse me. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone in our collective energy through daily practice. Physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus, meditation are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. When in balance, achieves anything and never gives up. When out of balance, runs away and feels weak. To bring into balance, strength training. We have We have Cheetah, solar force, action, achievement, and masculine energy. The cheetah is the epitome of the solar forces at work. The sun does not shine onto the cheetah, it shines from inside this great creature and expands outwards to brighten the universe. The energy within a cheetah personality is palpable to others, and they naturally attract an audience to bear witness to their remarkable achievements. Purpose and passion are the best fuel for a cheetah's forward momentum, so if you're lacking in those areas, reconnect to the why before you start running. When imbalance achieves anything in balanced energy, when out of balance, impatient and competitive, to bring into balance, reconnect to the purpose. You have Tiger, lunar force, ease in the darkness and feminine energy. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes some advantage on these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except for an awakening of your own power. When unbalanced, passionate, strong, and sensual. When out of balance, overstimulated, to bring into balance, candle gazing. And Cobra, pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guide, guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of an inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When in balance, a student of life, humble and wise. When out of balance, know it all and egocentric. To bring into balance, take a class and study. We have Bat. There's one before Bat, isn't there? I think there is. Yep, I knew it. Moth. Impulsive, hasty, and wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind the moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When unbalanced, enthusiastic, and whimsical, when out of balance, idolizes others and jittery, to bring into balance, finish a project. There we go. Now we can go back. Darkness, letting go, death leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise. In the darkness, it can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is the master of the subtle senses, the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade. The bat card shows up to signify an ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns. No more lingering in the past. When in balance, accepts, adapts, and adjusts. When out of balance, refuses to let go and reminisces. To bring into balance, watch the sunrise. And hummingbird. Positive, enthusiastic, and spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides the endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it is learned where they gather nectar and return to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, and sharp. To bring into balance, take a class. And last but not least, the sea serpent, healing emotional wounds and expressing desires. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression. Whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire, the sea serpent helps us to move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire. We know what we desire the most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our souls. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives and in other places it floods. What's important to remember is no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true nature. The sea serpent in the second chakra. The subtle energy of the sea serpent occupies the area of the Sadhisthana chakra, located deep within the pelvic bow. This chakra is known as our center of creativity and desire, and is associated with the water element. Sadhisthana translates to inner own abode, indicating that this chakra is the home of the Divine Mother, or Kundalini herself. And that is the reading for you all. Hopefully, this reaches the right people. I know it will. Hopefully, you got something out of it, entertainment, a lesson. However, I'm just glad that I was able to give you all the message. Thank you all for all the support, all the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, whether energetic or financial. If you're wanting to donate to the fundraiser, you can do that within the links in the description. As well as if you're interested, oh my God, in any services that I have, whether that's the books that I have, the readings I do, one-on-one service, tarot classes, however, you can either go in the description, use the order form, or email me and we'll get you set out that way. Again, we have the book on the ego that's done. I'm already working on a part two of it to break down how to do certain exercises to overstand each different part of it, since the first book is just talking about what it is in full, and the second book's going to be talking about how to work through it, like certain exercises you can do, certain ways you can think about things, all that type of stuff. But regardless, thank you all so much for all the support. I love you to the moon and back tenfold and forever, and I will see you all later.